Hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show. Give me 1 second here. Let me adjust the thing. Let me do a thing. Let me thing it up real quick. Thingity thing. What's up, and good morning, and welcome to your Monday stream. I'm already in Nerd Vengers Tower, and I gotta be honest, it's a weird vibe and feeling in the tower today, because nobody else is here. You know, like Susan's not here, Chet's not here. You know, I had to get in here and do everything myself. Like something. There's a note about Labor Day. I didn't even... What is that? Labor Day? It sounds like a made-up holiday. Like, let's leave Josh all in his lonesome and not actually do our job kind of a holiday. Probably invented by Susan. I don't know what that is. Can't relate. You know? I worked a ton in the restaurant industry before I went full-time on YouTube, and I never got a gosh dang Labor Day off. Frankly, never got any holidays off except Christmas, honestly. And the show must go on today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep doing our thing. We're going to talk about some hot D. Going to talk about some of the crazy Marvel news that's going on out there. Want to talk about the views for the Lord of the Rings show. Holy shit. That's pretty crazy. I want to talk a little Rick and Morty, man. I just want to nerd out with you guys. So that's what we're going to do. I hope you're doing well. Let me know. How are you doing, by the way? How are you? How you guys doing? Well, we actually had Jedi Mike. We had Christmas, was the one day we were closed at the restaurant, but Christmas Eve was a big money-making shift, 100%. It would get crazy. Okay, couple of things, show notes, couple of things we got to talk about before we get into the hot D of it all. And actually, I want to go over a couple of different things and then get into the hot D situation. But no Nerd Venger stream today. We will be doing a Nerd Venger stream on Wednesday at noon. And I just want to remind everybody that if you are interested in the comic that I am creating and you want to make a character or design a character for the comic book, we're doing another... one of those things. On Wednesday, we'll make that available, and 3 more people will be able to purchase with their nerd coin the ability to create one of those characters. So things are moving right along on that end. I just want to remind everybody, you know, because not everybody makes every single Nerd Venger stream. Check that out. I think it's going to be a really good one on Wednesday. This Saturday is going to be another massive stream here at the channel. Massive stream at the channel, okay? For D23. Marvel and Star Wars are sharing a panel together at Saturday, I believe around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be live like 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. So 12:30, we'll go live. We'll chat it up. We'll be having a good time. We'll be getting excited about some of the rumors and the things that are possibly leaked out by that point. I mean, there's already really crazy stuff going on, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit today. But that's going to be a really juicy stream, man. I have no idea what to expect from Star Wars. I really hope Star Wars comes correct and comes with some trailers, comes with some, you know, announcements, footage, or whatever, because they're sharing the stage with Marvel, and Marvel, despite dropping absolute bombs at San Diego Comic-Con, is rumored to do it again. So it's going to be really crazy. Saturday should be a really, really fun stream. I hope that you guys can make it. And if not, we'll be talking about it on Monday. We'll be breaking it down and talking about it throughout the week. A lot of crazy stuff, again, that's rumored. We'll get into it. The only other thing I would say is we are going to be doing another She-Hulk watch party. I've got a video today, actually. Some of you that despise She-Hulk might actually like the video that we're dropping today. It's about how Marvel is screwing up a little bit, and I think they need to adjust. I personally am not super triggered or bothered by the She-Hulk show. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that 7 out of 10 kind of coasting level for me. But man, this show, people hate this show. You know what I mean? People are really fired up about She-Hulk, many of whom I think in a really silly, kind of ridiculous way, but you kind of can't deny that that's happening, right? So even though I haven't been hating on She-Hulk, I wanted to do a video about how She-Hulk hate is not really even She-Hulk's fault, but it is a sign. It is a sign that Marvel needs to adjust. It's a really cool video. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. We've got a lot of other fun videos planned for you guys this week. Thunderbolt rumors. Thunderbolt rumors are crazy with regards to the MCU. So that's all pretty cool. But before we get into any of that, let's talk about some pretty crazy numbers when it comes to Rings of Power. Okay? This frankly shocked me. And I want to get into it. I want to know what you guys think about this. The number that's being touted. Yeah, here we go. Check this out. This shit's crazy. The number that's being touted from Amazon is 25 million global views. And apparently that's on the first day. That's what they were saying. Okay? That's crazy. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, what are your thoughts? Because I'll tell you, almost immediately, a lot of people were saying, there ain't no way. You know what I mean? Like, almost immediately. And you know what else is really interesting is, I know, like, a lot of people that I would expect to say, you can't trust this number. You know what I mean? They said it. But there were other people as well that either seem to be like impartial on these sort of things or don't really hang out in those crowds that, like, you know, love to just crap on things and things of that nature, right? So a lot of people are a little bit distrusting of this number. 25 million global views in the first 24 hours. That's not like a 5-day, bro. That's the first 24 hours. So I don't know. What do you guys make of that, dude? Do you believe it? I don't like the number. It must be a lie, says Carl. Yeah, you would, Carl. Yeah, you would, Carl. They could say any number. There is no proof. Well, how about this? Let's go to the polls because I have a thought on that, okay? Let's go to the polls. Let me end this poll and we'll go to the polls. It's big cap. Let's go to the polls. Let's see what you guys think. I mean, that's a crazy number, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's a crazy number. So, I think we can all agree that even if we don't think the number's real, this is a particularly crazy number. I mean, even Hot D had, what, like 10? I think its first 3-day or something like that, it did like 10. I do believe they said that the premiere of House of the Dragon was near 20 million after about a week. Okay, so we're flowing around in like similar kind of lanes, similar ideas here, but this would be ridiculous. And again, I think one of the things that's really wild is like, and remember last week, I don't know if all y'all were at Nerd Theory last week, but like we were going over these numbers, right? And the Star Wars and the Marvel shows just don't compare to this. Like, they're not even close, really, right? And Theory was, like, shocked at that reality, but it's true. Like, shows like this, I think, are just hitting way, way more. You know what else I'm kind of curious about? How many, and this is honestly a question for you guys. You let me know. How many of you guys have normie friends that watch either the Star Wars or the MCU shows? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of a serious question. How many normie friends watch those shows? Because I follow a lot of this stuff, right? And one of the things I found interesting was there was some reports, and I believe they even touched on this in the last investor call, where they said that the Star Wars and Marvel shows do a great job of providing content for people that are already subscribed, but they don't seem to be converting a lot of people. Meaning, like, there hasn't been a big show recently from Marvel or the Star Wars IP that they saw a huge uptick in subscriptions for, right? So some of you guys are saying you do have friends. Some of you are saying, what's a friend? Yeah, I don't know. I'm quite curious as to, like, how many people that are not, super sweaty are actually watching some of the Marvel and the Disney shows, right? Because, particularly for me, when it comes to Marvel especially, but I mean, Star Wars is beginning to become guilty of this as well. But particularly when it comes to Marvel, like, there's no real crazy draw to watch the shows. There's no Marvel show aside from Loki, and even Loki really, that I go out and recommend to, like, normies, so that I talk to with some of my friends that are not, like, super sweaty, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. Like, we're kind of playing in different leagues. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm super curious as to how potentially this show, Rings of Power, and House of the Dragon, maybe shifts the ideas over at Marvel or Star Wars. Maybe makes them, do less quantity but more quality. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, here's the thing. 50% of you say this is yes. So we're kind of split on whether or not this number is real. Here's the thing. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure that Amazon cannot just come out and lie about shit like this. Like, that there could be legal ramifications if they came out and lied about this shit. Okay? Now, are there ways that they could be fudging the numbers? Absolutely. Right? There are ways they could fudge the numbers, but I guess what I'm saying is they cannot just ass grab a number, bro. They cannot. I believe, and again, you tell me if I'm wrong about this. You know what I mean? And no offense, but some of you guys, you don't know shit. So I can't necessarily, like, take what you're saying. But reality check here. As a publicly traded company, I believe it is illegal. And I believe the SEC, which, I mean, you don't want to catch the ire of the SEC. I believe that things like this, because they can potentially manipulate stock price, you can't lie about this. Like, you simply can't. Like, what I mean is, like, you can't ass grab. If they come in and investigate or audit you, and I believe that this number would have to, this number, if it's real, and I'm thinking that it will have to be documented, put into a quarterly report, etc., etc. Like, there's a lot of legalese here, reasons that they can't just make it up. Now, again, they could be fudging the numbers, and there's all sorts of ways to do that, right? Like, for instance, did 15 million people watch the first episode and 10 million people watch the second episode, and they're putting that together and saying it's 25? Maybe. Yeah, exactly, Oliver, exactly. 100%. Or your name's not actually Oliver, but Avila. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, they can't just ass grab this. They could be cooking it a little bit, but they, bottom line, cannot be ass grabbing it, okay? So, this is an incredible number. Now, the question is, if we kind of settle on the fact that, yeah, this is probably real, or it's within 5 million or something, like, it's... The basic idea here is this. A shit ton of people watched The Rings of Power globally. Now, I've heard a lot of discussion of, like, making sense of this versus the HBO Max thing. First of all, not everybody has HBO Max. Not as many people have HBO in general. And so, in some ways, it is a limited... it's a limited thing, the HBO thing. Even though it's a massive show, even though it's a massive platform, Prime Video, because it's just simply included on everybody that has Amazon Prime, is way more prolific. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I had heard at one time that there were more people that have Amazon Prime in America than actually put up Christmas trees each Christmas. Like, it has permeated almost everybody, man. Like, almost every person you know is connected to an Amazon Prime account in some way, shape, or form, right? Like, Prime is very prevalent. And all over the world, dude. Like, Amazon Prime is huge all over the world. And so I think in some sense that could be making up the disparity here, like kind of explaining a little bit of why there's so much of a pop here. You know, I would also say that the fact that there was so much drama leading up to it, you could see a lot of hate watching, or like, you know, people watching just to try to pick it apart and crap on it. That could absolutely be a part of it. But I think the other aspect of this is that the show itself, and Lord of the Rings in general, is one of the most massive IPs on the planet. I mean, this is a massive IP. And, you know, this show, at the very least, was touted often, particularly by Amazon, as being the most expensive show ever made. And so, like, how are you not, if you just like watching TV, which, you know, spoiler alert, a lot of people do, how do you not watch this? 13% of them were bots, 100%. So, this is crazy, dude. There are ways that you can explain it, but regardless, that's crazy. And I would say, for the show, an incredible start and a great success on its launch. It's an incredible success. Now, the next question is going to be, how is it going to fare in its second week? Is Amazon going to come out and throw another big fat number at us next week? Or are they going to shut the fuck up? Because a lot of people are not coming back for episode 3. You know, I saw somebody say in chat, are you going to watch episode 3? Yes, I'll watch episode 3. I know I was kind of down on the show on Friday. And to be honest with you, I do think it's really boring. At least that first episode. Second episode, it picks up a little bit. But god damn, I thought it was boring, okay? But I'm going to give it a fair shake. I want to continue to try the show out. And look, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, what's the show supposed to do? Right? It's supposed to get a ton of people to engage in it, a ton of people to talk about it. They'd like to be, you know, get a couple of awards here and there and be critically acclaimed. And I think it's still absolutely possible that this show does that in spite of a lot of people rooting for its downfall, or people like me that just think it was boring, because it was. It was real boring. I didn't hate it. It's just like, dude, it's just real boring. You know what I mean? So, kind of interesting with regards to that. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to go check out episode 3? Let's go to the polls on that. How was it boring? Go watch the stream from Friday if you care to have me pontificate on it. And also, I like the Morty icon. But also, I'm probably going to ban your ass, Logan. I got no patience today. I'm fucking done with the woods. And I don't like your attitude. I don't like the cut of your jib. But I do like your Morty profile picture. So maybe I'll give you one more chance. Rick and Morty last night. Pretty fucking cool. I thought that was a super fun start to season 6. Okay, are you going to watch Rings of Power episode 3? And I also do want to mirror one thing here. I want to sort of mirror this thing. I've seen a lot of people say, because look, we live in this crazy world. Everybody's trying to, you know, some people love getting upset. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing. It's a wild day and age that we live in, you know? People that actually are excited to wake up every day, go to Twitter and get furious. You know what I mean? It's a wild thing. But I do just kind of want to mirror this idea or this sentiment that I'm very grateful as a big old nerd that we live in a time where Amazon's spending $1 billion on a mid-ass Rings of Power show. That House of the Dragon is back, and it's killing it. Even She-Hulk, even despite it being hated, people fucking hate that show. I'm having a good time with it, and I'm happy to be a nerd at this time. It's really, really cool. So that's with all of that. Okay, should we get into some hot D? Would you guys like to get into some hot D now? Would you like to dive full on face first into a big pile of hot D? If you like hot D, nay, if you love hot D the way I do, go check out on our Teespring store. Somebody in chat, help get the link. Get the link. Somebody get them the link. Okay, we have these beautiful t-shirts in the Nerd Ventures gift shop. You can go downstairs to the gift shop and get them. We got them on hoodies. We got them on t-shirts. We got them on mugs. We got them on this thing. Tank tops. What else we got them on? Long sleeve, baby. I saw somebody in chat saying long sleeve. There you go. There you go. Bismo. A long sleeve hot D just for you, buddy. Check it out. Also, if you're a new Nerd Venture, there is a coupon code for just being a Nerd Venture. You get 20% off. And we'll post that on the community page today. Or you can go onto the Discord and get it. Somebody will help you out on Discord. But yeah, check it out. Get yourself some hot D. And hang on one second, because I got to adjust this thing here. Dude, what? Okay, I was going to say, I thought I had this thing working. What? Hang on, everybody. Hold on to your hot D butts. Boom! Oh my God, we can actually watch through the show together. It's incredible. It's incredible. I don't even know how we figured this out, especially without Chet and Susan here. Dang old buttholes. Okay. That's dang old buttholes, man. Okay, so first of all, too, while we're gonna break into this, why don't you guys? And you know what? I want to kill the music. Let's just go musicless on this. I'd really like to know. You guys, let me know your score out of 10. How do you feel about episode 3? You know, I really liked episode 1. I loved episode 2, and I really like episode 3. I don't like it as much as maybe episode 2, but I will say, as far as delivering on the goods, dude, I thought this thing did a very good job. You know, and by the way, too, I'm not gonna go too far into book spoilers. Looks like a lot of positive scores on this, huh? A lot of positive scores. Cool. So I'm not gonna go into, or at least I'm gonna try not to go into like heavy book spoilers, because I've watched a million videos on it. I know where this is going, at least from the perspective of the books. And so I'm gonna try not to talk too much about that stuff. I may allude to some stuff here, and then maybe I'll do like a big video on like crazy differences. But I think the thing to keep in mind here is that this is all headed towards this massive civil war that essentially is the thing that really weakens House Targaryen before Robert's Rebellion. There's another rebellion with the Blackfires that happens, you know, like before Robert's Rebellion, but this Dance of the Dragons, or the Dance of the Dragons, is where the Targaryens lose a lot of their power. They lose a lot of their dragons. You know what I mean? So this thing is crazy. And as I was like, watching videos on like what happens in the books and stuff, bro, we are just getting started, and the shit's gonna go crazy. This thing could go for multiple seasons, and just have, especially once we get into the heat of the actual battles and the wars, bro, this shit's gonna be wild. Like every episode could be an epic battle and all that sort of stuff. It's really, really cool. One other small ADD thing I want to touch on here. There was a report that came out over the weekend from Daniel Rickman, who I think is a pretty good leaker. Henry Cavill and Elizabeth Olsen are being looked at for roles in House of the Dragon Season 2. And oh, man! I'm excited about that shit, man. I hope that happens. And there's all sorts of characters that they could do, that they could play. Of course, you know, I think there's already an actor that's playing Aegon the Second, at least an older Aegon the Second, right? Right? Am I wrong? No? Wrong? Right? Wrong? Right? Henry Cavill's going to be a dragon. Oh, that would be wild, dude. Just like all these other dragons and then this big CGI'd like Henry Cavill with like a big neck and it's just his face and everything. Mustache, of course. Damn, that'd be wild. So look, there's a lot of different people that these actors and actresses could play. I even saw some fan art of Elizabeth Olsen as a younger Melisandre, the lady in red from the actual Game of Thrones show, and that would be wild because she's perhaps been around for a long, long time. Regardless, so we start the episode 3 in the Stepstones, crab feeder feeding peoples to the crabs, and there's this knight that he's like having this dialogue with. It was really crazy. Like this knight was like all full of piss and vinegar, man. He was like real fired up about this shit. You know what I mean? And it doesn't end well for him, but regardless of all of that, they're in the middle of the battle, and the dragon comes down, right? And so the dragon comes in, and dude, I love this entire sequence. I thought it was a brilliant opening sequence, but beyond that, one of the things that's really cool about the show, and again, it's just in the first season, just 3 episodes in, and I already can tell we're going to get incredible dragon combat and incredible dragon fighting. The fighting with this dragon was so cool. There are a couple of moments that really stuck out to me, like when he lifts his wing. Daemon sort of lifts his arm, and then the wing of his dragon like lifts up, and like he's blocking arrows. There's also a part where Daemon gets hit in the arm with a flaming arrow, and it seems to affect. What's Craxis? Is that his dragon? It seems to affect the dragon. I was like, dude, that's really, really cool. And also, I mean, dude, when we were watching Game of Thrones back in the day, we had to wait forever to get the dragons to be actually doing something. Now, they definitely do a lot towards the end of the show, and it's really, really cool. But we waited forever for that shit, and damn, dude, just in this episode you get some really juicy dragon fighting and just really badass scenes right away. And look, the crab feeder, can we talk about the crab feeder for just a second here? Caraxes, that's the dude. Kevin Feige, I didn't know you were such a fan. That's cool. Can we talk about the crab feeder for a second here? This dude has 0 lines. This guy has 0 lines and dies kind of off camera. Like, I don't know, man. This, for being such a badass that has caused so much trouble over in the Stepstones, I feel as though he wasn't really given, too much to do. You know what I mean? He was kind of shafted. Yeah, they kind of do him dirty. I mean, I assume he's a little more badass in the books and all of that. But, yeah, wild, right? Like, he literally doesn't... They have a whole dialogue thing in the beginning. He doesn't say anything, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't say anything. It's just very wild. So then we cut, of course, to the birthday of Aegon the Second. Really interesting. And we learn through the dialogue of this sequence that it has been 3 years about since the end of episode 2, which is kind of another interesting thing. I'm curious as to how you guys feel about this. How do you feel about these crazy time jumps? Like, are you for it? Are you not for it? Like, what do you think? Because I like it, but I do hope that at some point they stop. Perhaps like when we get into the actual conflict and stuff like that. I just want it to just chill and like live there. You know what I mean? But to be fair, there is a lot of stuff that they're essentially trying to set up at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this is really, really interesting, man. There's so much going on here, and it's really good, like Game of Thrones, character stuff, right? This guy, I believe, is a high tower as well. I think he's Otto's father. And so he's basically just saying, like, yo, everybody loves Aegon. Aegon's going to be king. Let's do this thing. And he's like, I don't know. Otto's like, I don't know. I don't know if the king feels that. I don't know if he's down with such things. And this dude's basically like, well, then you better make him understand, okay? And then in the middle of all of this jazz, you have a Lannister, okay? And this guy comes in, and he's warning the king about how bad it's going in the Stepstones and how they really need a lot of help. There's about to be a mutiny against his brother. Shit's about to get real, real bad. And the king is just kind of like, dude, like, I'm not trying to hear that right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to hear that right now. It can wait. And he's just trying to figure out where his daughter's at, okay? Now, she is chilling underneath one of these trees. Now, there's some really, really interesting things about these trees. I remember watching Game of Thrones, and these are the weirwoods, right? I remember watching it, and there were all these theories about how perhaps Bran or the Three-Eyed Raven had to see through these trees. And so anything that was away from the trees was perhaps away from the vision of the Three-Eyed Raven, or even perhaps the gods, right? The gods of the Seven. Or the old gods, rather. And there were even theories based upon things in the books that, like, Littlefinger was specifically conducting business away from these trees to, like, hide what he's actually trying to do from the gods, or perhaps from someone like Bran, right? And one of the things I really hope from this show, and just from Game of Thrones in general, is that they don't shy away from stuff like that and they get really weird with it, right? Because there were concepts in the Game of Thrones books about these, I think they're called the glass candles, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I know there's some sweaties in here, right? The glass candles, or the lanterns that the Valyrians used there were Valyrian sorcerers that would use these things to speak into people's dreams and do all this really crazy stuff. And I had always hoped that, like, at the end of Game of Thrones, it was going to get real weird with some of that shit. And they were going to, like, really go deep on explaining how some of this stuff happened. Den of Candles. Yeah. And by the way, another really, really interesting aspect of all of this is that way in the beginning, and I'm not going to, like, just pull all the way back here because I want to stay where we're at, but all the way in the beginning, there's this idea with the first thing you see in the intro, and it's High Valyria, and some people are saying that even though it's just a little image and you can kind of see, like, dragons going off into the distance, that it's possible that we learn in this show that the Targaryens actually were the cause of the Great Doom. Because according to the lore, they knew the Doom was going to happen, and they all bail from Valyria before the Doom. And essentially, if you think about it, they were just a house that was dragon riders, but they were low on the totem pole. Okay? They were low on the totem pole until everybody in Valyria died, and the Valyrians died. This is called the Doom. So, you know, is it possible that the Targaryens actually created and caused the Doom? You know, what is that? What's that about? There's a lot of, like, interesting kind of deep lore stuff that's going on here. But regardless, we get this scene here. I thought it was a fun scene, man. It's just kind of meant to show the dynamic between them, that there's a lot of resentment here. Alicent is the king, and the queen, and she orders away the Samwell homie, and there's nothing that the princess can do about it. She joins them on the hunt, and they're all, you know, getting ready for the hunt. Now, the deal is, man, like, it is true that people are pretty hyped up about Aegon II. You know, like, that is absolute facts. Like, people are excited. They're hyped up that the king has a firstborn son, and this hunt and the whole situation is pretty hyped up. Now, obviously, Rhaenyra not loving this, right? She feels like nobody's there for her. Nobody cares about her. She feels as though she's going to be supplanted, and foreshadowing of like really crazy, interesting things to come, right? We do get to a point, and I don't know if it happens here. Okay, right here. So after everything's like begun and all of that, right, we get this freaking dude who is the twin of the other Lannister that we saw earlier, who was warning the king about what's going on in the Stepstones, all right? And this dude ain't got no game, right? So he's trying to court her, and holy shit, perfect reintroduction to the Lannisters in Game of Thrones, because this dude is so Lannister, it's out of control. And I love how the king says later, his pride has pride, right? And he's trying to court the queen now, or the princess. Now she gets real mad about this and kind of like storms back in to talk to her dad about it, right? And it's like, I don't know, man. You guys tell me like kind of where you're at with this. But as far as I'm concerned, when I'm like just kind of looking at what's going on with the characters, Rhaenyra, and yes, she's 17 years old, so she's acting like a teenager, 100%. But like, she is not doing herself or the realm any favors. Okay. And, it's sort of established in episode 1 that she wants nothing to do with this, that she just wants to ride around on dragons and just chill, and she doesn't want anything to do with this. But I find it so weird that if that's the case, why is she mad about her new little brother perhaps taking over? If she really doesn't want to be queen, and she doesn't like all of this shit, she doesn't like the idea of marriage and all of these different things, then why not just let Aegon do his thing and you just kind of chill, right? I suppose at some level she still has things that are required of her, and there's still all of these, duties, tradition, blah, 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 right? But she just has this straight up fight with her dad. And like, don't get me wrong, like her dad is messing up a lot as well. He's doing a lot of stupid things. He's like a version of the Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark together, because he actually does want to do the right thing, but he keeps messing it up. He has no mind for like politics or like how to rule with strength, right? But regardless, this scene is really, really interesting because it's interrupted by a really interesting symbolic idea that there is this white deer they call the White Hart, and the White Hart has been seen out on this hunt that is meant to commemorate Aegon II's, birthday. So that's like symbolism to kind of suggest, and I think to hype people up about Aegon potentially being king. Okay, so Rhaenyra gets all buttered. She runs off. Now she's she has this thing with Kristen Cole. He comes out there to kind of rescue her and all these sort of things. And again, I'm not going to go like super into like book spoilers or what happens, but just based on like some of the things that I know, I'm like, this is wild, bro. Like, it's wild how these relationships are coming together, considering where this is going to go. And it's going to go into a bad spot. You know what I mean? But interesting nonetheless. She goes out there. She's just kind of rebelling. He's making sure she's cool and all that, right? Now, this part was funny to me because the king comes out and he puts a bunch of poo-poo on his hands. Okay? And look, we find out later that he's missing not one but two fingers. That he literally, the rot that was on his fingers or whatever, spread all the way to another one, so he's missing two fingers. And I just got to say that holding poopy in your hands, probably not the most sanitary thing. And I now think I understand a little bit more as to why his fingers are rotting off. You know what I mean? Like, you don't touch that poopies. Glass candles, that's what they're called. Okay, cool. Yeah, so regardless, they're out there. They're like, okay, cool. The hunt's on, man. Things be good. And this part's really interesting, man. I got some real, Robert Baratheon vibes here, man, because he's just getting wasted, dude. The king is just chilling there, getting wasted, and he is just so over it, right? And so this Lannister dude, comes, gives him the gift. And basically within this conversation, he says, your daughter will be fine even given her loss in station if she comes to live with me at Castle Rock. Okay? And Viserys is like, what are you talking about, dude? What loss in station? And then it's revealed, and I think this should have been obvious maybe to the king, right? But again, he's got a lot going on. He's like struggle busting it, and he's wasted. But the whole realm expects Aegon to be named heir. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what's expected, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what they expect. And, Viserys just kind of holds strong on this thing where he's like, I didn't name my daughter as my heir on a whim. And everybody better know that, okay? Now, this is where it gets a little weird. You know what I mean? Because Otto rolls up, and he's politicking as well. Okay? And he's talking about what a good sign it is and that everybody loves Aegon, et cetera, right? And all that. And then he requests something that is ridiculous, but also very Targaryen. Okay? Viserys himself, unless I'm mistaken, married his sister, right? Help me out, chat. Did he not marry his sister? So Otto is basically like, yo, why not have Rhaenyra marry Prince Aegon? My grandson. Oh, cousin. Okay, right on. Why not have Rhaenyra marry my grandson, your firstborn son, Aegon? And Aegon and the king's basically like, he's 2 years old, dude. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And even though that seems hella weird to us, right? Hella weird. To them, it's not as weird. And I do think, politically speaking, it would have been a smart move. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a smart move, politically speaking. But again, Viserys is not into that. He even says, he's like, I don't want to order her. I want her to be happy, right? And so he's doing or he's at least trying to do a good fatherly thing. But as far as for the realm, he's kind of fucking up. You know what I mean? He's not doing the right thing. And he just continues to drink, dude. Like, Viserys is he's just getting hammered, okay? Now, this dude rolls up and proposes something really interesting that I think will come back into play. He says to the king that he should marry Rhaenyra to Lord Corlys's first son, who happens to be a dragon rider as well, which we skipped the whole thing where he becomes a dragon rider, but we see him later on as a dragon rider, and it's dope. By the way, his sister, the 12-year-old that Viserys did not marry, unless I'm mistaken, she ends up riding the biggest dragon that there is, the one that she's asking about in the first episode, or the second episode, that has gone away, that they don't know where it's at. That dragon, the huge one. The poop handling, hunters do that. I mean, I know they do that, but I'm just saying Viserys probably shouldn't do it, you know what I mean? So he makes that suggestion. And, I mean, look, the king is like, all right, whatever. But he's so wasted. And he just, like, goes off camera, and he's like, whatever, dude. Now, we then get this weird boar killing thing, which was kind of interesting, and it just kind of shows their bonds forming. I mean, when you kill a boar together, you know what I mean? That's pretty intimate stuff. And, it also shows Rhaenyra, because he, like, kills it, and then it's still alive, and then she just goes nuts on it, like, ah! And, like, she's, like, getting blood all over it. I think it's, like, symbolic of some interesting things going on. But after that, yeah, right there, right, where she's stabbing away. Now, after that, Alicent comes out to the king, and he's just drinking in front of this fire, dude. This dude's just getting hammered AF. But he says something really interesting here. He talks about how many in his line, in the Targaryen bloodline, were dragon riders. But not many of them were dreamers or had visions. Okay? And he says he had a vision, a vivid, vision of his own son being born with the Conqueror's crown. And he really did think that was happening. And he literally confesses to Alicent, basically, like, I thought that vision was bullshit after my son died, Baelor. Then I didn't think I would remarry. But now I'm like, oh no, what if I was wrong to make Rhaenyra my heir? Because what if the vision is real and Aegon is supposed to be king? So just kind of planting the seeds there. And one of the other things that I think is really interesting here is this idea of dreams and visions. And again, this kind of comes back to the glass candles. This kind of comes back to, the three-eyed raven and some of the other shady possible things that could be going on with all of that. And yeah, so it's just from the lore perspective, it's fun, it's cool, and it's definitely going to be touched on again later. Okay. Now this part was really cool. The king rolls up on the stag, and there's this beautiful shot that they do behind his head. See if I can find it. Right here, where you see his white hair, and then you see the brown stag kind of in that juxtaposition, because it's not the White Hart. Okay? And there's almost like this look of relief on the king's face, like right here. Here, I'll show you again. It seems like he's like literally relieved by this. Like a sigh of relief. I don't know if you take it that way, but I kind of take it that way, right? Where he's like, yeah, no, man, thank God. Because that's just so much pressure and another big omen of like, Aegon should be king, you know what I mean? And all of that. It's pretty interesting. But regardless, it's not the White Hart. And the king also does not kill the stag on the first strike. Again, just kind of showing that he's weak. Because ultimately, like, even though I like this character, and I think he's generally trying to be a good dude, his brother was right about him. He is weak. And the people around him are using him. You know what I mean? And so it's like, damn, dude, it's another, like, sign of how weak he is. Now, we cut to these two, and then we see the actual White Hart. And I loved it, dude. I thought it was so cool. Such a cool piece of symbolism here with this actual White Hart, which is, it's cool for a couple of different reasons. I mean, we already have the lore established in the world here, but this also goes back to like times of like King Arthur and true medieval stuff. And if you didn't know, the Song of Ice and Fire books are actually based on a big historical, what was the thing called? It was like this. It wasn't necessarily something of roses. I think it was a battle or a war of roses or something like that. And that's generally what a lot of A Song of Ice and Fire is based on. George also does take a lot, the War of the Roses. Yeah. So he takes a lot from historical, elements of actual medieval shit and like puts it in to his stories, to the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire. And really, really cool. I mean, this stag's regal. It's really cool. I love the music and shit that they play too. Like, it's nice. Like, I like Rhaenyra a lot. Even though I know like kind of where this is all going, I like Rhaenyra, okay? Now, you again get Otto basically saying like, you got to convince the king to make Aegon king. Now, from here, and this is, again, we see him with the two fingers. Like, dude, I don't know what happened, bro, but yo shit got fucked. I mean, look at this. He's missing the two fingers here. You know what I mean? He's just literally falling apart. I'm going to steal this from Paul from Heavy Spoilers. He said that he thinks his hairline is receding, and apparently he goes bald in the books, too. So, just tell everybody you heard that from Josh and not Paul from Heavy Spoilers. So, yeah, really, really cool, man. He's literally deteriorating right in front of our eyes, right? It's wild. But she actually convinces him to help Daemon and try to thwart the crab feeder, okay? So then this is the messenger dude that Daemon literally goes crazy on later. But, the king's like, look, I'm going to go help him. We're going to send some help over there. So he tells Rhaenyra that, but he also kind of doubles down on this whole you've got to marry thing, okay? Now, there's a couple of crazy things going on here because he says, you've got to marry, but it can be of your choosing. And also, I wavered before, but I promise you on the memory of your mother, I will not supplant you. You are my heir. Okay? That's wild, bro. That's gonna come back to bite him in the ass. I understand the sentiment. He shouldn't have done that. Man, it's so heavy-handed with the that's like he's just like trying to make up for it, man. You know what I mean? Like he's just saying, he's like, no, like, I know I screwed up. I'm so sorry. That'll never happen again. When really he probably should have said like, I don't want to do that again. I hope I don't do that again. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, okay. Pretty interesting stuff. And again, I think that will really come back into play later, right? Now, we shift after this to the Stepstones, and I really, really like this as an ending. This shot itself is so cool because the dragons are like trying to run like interference on this anti-ship, cannonballs or whatever the hell, is going on over here. Probably trebuchets, which again, how are the trebuchets able to be hidden from the dragons but still able to do this? Don't think about it too much. But, you got these ships coming in and you cut to a part where there's this meeting between all of these dudes. Okay, now this right here is the guy that earlier in the episode was said to marry Rhaenyra, right? The one dude, I forget his name, but he basically tells the king, I think you should marry Rhaenyra to the son of Lord Corlys, and that'll join the houses and whatever. Now, this is his uncle, and Corlys isn't in the shot, but he is here with them all. Now, Daemon lands. It's all super badass. And again, it was mentioned earlier in the episode that it's almost going to be a mutiny, right? Like people really, Daemon's driving them hard. Daemon is not really loved by these people, and like it's close to mutiny. And as he's rolling up, this dude's like talking shit, right? And Corlys was literally like, dude, I don't care that we're blood. If you start a mutiny, I'm going to fuck you up, basically. And so that was really, really interesting. And look at this shot. Like, Daemon understands it. He looks around at the men and everything. He just sees the attitude. You know what I mean? He sees what's going on. It was really interesting. I was like, this scene is pretty interesting. And then the King's dude rolls up, okay? And, shows what I know. I thought Daemon would be happy about this. I thought Daemon would be like, hey, my brother's coming, or, my brother's got this or something, deliver that to the men, like let them go. And I don't even know, does it go down like this in the books, guys? Because, dude, he was so mad, bro. He was so mad. Like, my God, bro. Like, he gets the note. You know what I mean? He reads the note, and I was like, okay, cool. He's going to, like, give some kind of cool speech or whatever. And then he literally attacks the dude and starts beating the shit out of him. I was like, this is wild, bro. I was like, no way. Damon, no! Damon, don't do that! You know what I mean? And then all of the men get really, really upset. Now, what this actually leads to is a super alpha Giga Chad move by Daemon, where it also, like, just straight up not cool. Like, he comes in on his own, and I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe he doesn't plan this out other than the fact that he's just going to go in there. Okay? He goes in there. I don't think he told Corlys, like, come in later, help me out and all these other things, right? I believe he just like, no, I'm going to go do some shady-ass Daemon shit because it's time. It's time. Like, let's get this going, okay? So he comes in under a white flag, okay, and literally, like, surrenders his sword, okay? And they got all these people watching all these things, right? And so he literally, look at this, literally, like, surrendering his sword. And, they roll up, and then he's like, nah, fam, how about I pull some shady business off instead? And then they start, like, going after him, bro, like a million arrows, like, and, is he like he's like the Tom Cruise. He's like the Tom Cruise of Westeros because, he's avoiding all these arrows, right? Just not getting hit at all. It was crazy, dude. Like, it was, like, a little much, like, you know what I mean? But for me, the reason it works is because he does actually get tagged. And it looked like at some point he was going to get, taken out or whatever, right? So I was like, damn, dude. I was like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. This is really fun. And then, he gets hit a couple of times, and he's just chilling. They all are sent out to go after him. And, like, kind of right when it's looking real bad, a dragon comes down, and this is Corlys' son. What's his name? Valor? Valor. He comes in with the dragon. He's messing him up. It was dope. It was awesome. Colas and the men come in, and it's crazy, man. Like, they actually end up kind of taking ground. You know, this is big. Like, this shit's so cool, bro. Are you kidding me? Like, again, like, we had to wait 5 seasons. Rhaenyra? Yeah. We had to wait like 5 seasons to get stuff like this in Game of Thrones, and now we're just getting spoiled with like a ton of dope dragon stuff, dope dragon content. I thought this was freaking awesome, man. And he's loving it, man. He's like really into it as a dragon rider as well, which I think is really, really cool. And yeah, they fight him back, and then the episode essentially ends with Daemon going in and again killing the crab feeder kind of disrespectfully, literally like cutting off his torso and coming out. Now, we know, according to the trailers for next week, that he's going to be named like King in the Stepstones, or what does he say? He calls himself a different kind of king. I believe in the books, even before this whole battle starts, they name him King of the Stepstones, I believe. But in the show, it's not until after Daemon goes absolute crazy, Giga Chad, Boba Fett, like banana nut muffin. He went absolutely crazy, and yeah, he goes nuts. King of the Narrow Sea. Okay, cool. Yeah, so he's like crowned in some regards. He's held as some kind of a hero and shit like that. It's very cool, and so it's going into a really, really interesting way. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. And yeah, it is going to get pretty freaking wild moving forward, moving ahead here. But I'm so excited, dude. And I think, look, what do we got? 10 episodes? 10 episodes? Right? 10? 10? 10 episodes? Like, dude, I am here for that. That is super hyped up to me. Like, I'm loving this, man. I'm loving this. And like more dragons, more battles, more political intrigue. Oh man, it's gonna get nuts. And I don't even know, like, I don't know where the ending spot is for this season as far as, what's going on in the books and things of that nature. But damn, yeah, it's gonna get pretty wild in my opinion. I'm quite enjoying it. I think it's really, real cool. So yeah. Talk comic books, please. Whoa. Okay, look. One day a week now, I'm trying to talk about some hot D. Okay, we can get into the comic book news. We can do that right now. Can I just talk a little hot D? The episode titles were leaked. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, we can talk about that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of comic books before Second Son cancels his subscription. Okay? Sheesh. No, it's all good. But yeah, no, I am really liking Hot D. Let me just is it obvious enough that I really like the show? Does everybody know that I like the show? Okay, so crazy rumors when it comes to D23. Okay, we did back-to-back crazy videos about what's going on. One of the things that really blew up over the weekend, and there's some questions on how reliable this dude is as a source, but there was a real crazy tweet that came out talking about this. Let me see if I can get this pulled up here. Talking about, wait, what? What the? What? Okay, cool. Okay, talking about this right here. This tweet from Emmett Kennedy. And Emmett is mostly a sports broadcaster. But I talked to Emmett a little bit behind the scenes. And he claims to have a connection. And he claims to have known before many people that John Krasinski was going to be Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness, okay? And he said to me that before, when he didn't talk about it, he was kicking himself for not bringing it up because it obviously would have blown up, and there's a lot of, all these kind of things going on with regards to the MCU, okay? Chilling in the basement. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so he says here, I'm reliably informed that Marvel Studios has signed epic talent for Phase 5. John Boyega, Henry Cavill, Jodie Comer, Daisy Edgar Jones, John Krasinski, Giancarlo Esposito, and Denzel Washington. Now, one of the reasons that this is pretty wild is because we were just talking about John Boyega the other day, because remember, Daisy Ridley crashed a podcast that he was doing with Josh Horowitz and really made it seem like he's working for Marvel. Do you remember that? Put a 1 into the chat if you remember that. On top of that, Grace, I know, right? Every time I say Grace, everybody freaks out, okay? Grace had mentioned that there was somebody that was in talks for the Fantastic Four that had starred in Star Wars recently. Okay, and to me, that seems very much like a John Boyega situation. Now, here's the other thing to keep in mind here, okay? Here's the other thing to keep in mind. When Marvel is in talks with a big actor, it is usually not just for one particular role. There's a couple of them, right? Even Giancarlo Esposito, who literally just talked about this when he was at a Comic-Con. He was talking about how he sat down in a room with Marvel. He talked about how there were different roles that they were pitching for him. Now, his personal wishes, his personal choice, is to be Charles Xavier. And believe it or not, I think that's exactly who he's going to be. I think that's exactly who he's going to be. And I think that they might announce that at D23. But I say all of that to suggest to you that even though a lot of people are saying, I don't know if this is real, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it's real, okay? I don't really know Emmett, okay? I just know what he said to me, et cetera, right? Wait, Jodie Comer was in Star Wars as well? No way. Really? As who? Who was she in Star Wars? I don't recognize her as anybody in Star Wars. So, I think that there's some legitimacy to this. This could actually be true. There's a lot of discussion about Henry Cavill as well. She's Rey's mom. Okay. Yeah. So, Henry Cavill, right? Henry Cavill, there's a lot of discussion that it could be Henry Cavill coming into the MCU as well. That's pretty wild, bro. John Krasinski, and I mean, come on. If John Krasinski is back, he's playing Reed. I'm not saying he's playing our Reed, but I think he's playing Reed. And by the way, he actually could be playing our Reed. 100%. Okay? So, that's quite interesting. Now, as far as Denzel is concerned, I mean, bro, I can't help it. I know I shouldn't, but I want it. I want him as Magneto. I want him as Magneto, and I know a lot of people will freak out if they race bend Charles Xavier and Magneto, okay? And I get it, and we'll go through it like we always fucking do. But here's the bottom line, man. Denzel is like one of the most alpha actors in Hollywood. Facts. There are very few actors that can match his level of intensity and just pure, just presence, okay? And when I think of Magneto, especially if they want to go real hard with Magneto, I absolutely believe that Denzel Washington could do it, and I think it would be incredible, right? And so, look, maybe they will figure a way to explain it. I know a lot of people have said that it's possible for him to be black and Jewish. And I know this is true from the Archer show, because I know that can happen from the Archer show. So I'm an educated man of culture. So they could figure out a way to do it. They could make it work. But I think just look, all of that kind of stuff, I've never really cared for it, right? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, this character was Jewish, so you need the actor to be Jewish. Dude, what? I don't care. I really don't. I know some of you do. Either, in either way, to me, it's really more like, can I see this person as the character? And they're giving a performance, so I look to their past performances. Are there elements of their past performances that I think could work for the performance of this character? And when it comes to Denzel, I absolutely believe that. When it comes to the ladies, I really don't know. Although Daisy Edgar Jones down here, I think could be Rogue, could be a mutant, could be something like that. I actually believe Jodie is more likely to be Sue Storm. But somebody brought up the fact that she has worked with the guy that is currently doing the new Deadpool movie. The guy that they're going to do, and I think he was the Free Guy. Free Guy? The person that directed Free Guy, which is freaking awesome, by the way. Have y'all not seen Free Guy? Shit's awesome. But she's worked with him, and he's doing Deadpool 3, so perhaps a mutant in Deadpool. She would be a good Jean as well. So, I don't know, man. I think there's a bunch of crazy possibilities with this. You know what else is wild? This might not even be all of them. This might not even be all of them. Because I do think going into Phase 5, going into Phase 6, you do need to bring some major talent. I think you should bring on some big names. Marvel can do, lesser known actors or actresses. 100%. They've done that before, and they'll continue to do so. But I think that as the MCU evolves, as things shift, I think it's worth it to go after some big names. I get excited as a big Marvel fan every time that there's a potential big name actor or actress coming into the MCU. I get excited about it. So I think some of this stuff could be announced on Saturday, which is pretty freaking wild, man. I'm very, very excited to check that out. So that's kind of the Marvel bits, the Marvel news when it comes to all of that. I don't know if there's anything too much else. Oh, here's something else that's kind of interesting. When it comes to D23, there seems to be a lot of Spider-Man on the adverts. Okay? And if you'll recall, I believe I said this last week. Marvel, given where they're at, could really use Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like, if I were Feige, I would back up the Robert Downey Jr. level money truck to secure Tom Holland in my shit for a long, long time, dude. Because we got a bunch of new characters, we got lesser known, people are... It's just like fan expectations and fan feelings are just very different now to what they were before. And I think that having Spider-Man, locking up Spider-Man to be involved in a lot of these different projects is key. And so this is popping up around the Expo Center. And I would be thrilled to get a Tom Holland announcement at D23. I do think that would be really, really cool. So that's another thing. I don't know if there's anything. Oh, by the way, this just cracking me up, dude. The internet is freaking out about the twerking scene. Yeah, it's wild. But like art like this and memes like this, oh man, I think it's incredible. I think the twerking She-Hulk scene is the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm pretty hyped up. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know. Is there anything else? Is there anything else I missed? Oh, before we get into Q&A, let me just talk a little bit about Rick and Morty because I thought that was so dope, bro. Did y'all watch Rick and Morty? Put a 1 into the chat if you watch the new episode of Rick and Morty. Let me know. How many of you guys watch Rick and Morty? How many of y'all watch Rick and Morty? I really liked this new episode, season 6. I thought it was super fun. We're left on like a really wild cliffhanger, and man, I gotta tell you, I kind of feel as though Rick and Morty is embracing its Marvel connection, because at this point, many of the writers and the creatives that have worked on Rick and Morty are now over at Marvel. I mean, you've got Michael Waldron, you've got the dude that's on Ant-Man Quantumania, you have the main writer of She-Hulk. These are all Rick and Morty people. And they had like a bunch of Marvel Easter eggs. They had like a Magneto helmet, Wolverine claws, an Iron Man reference in the very beginning of the show. I feel like they're kind of addressing that, you know? And they're, you know, they're not shying away from it. And I thought it was really cool. I also loved just the multiversal alternate reality thing that they were doing with the episode. And I felt like the show had kind of a little bit returned back to form. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Rick and Morty is such a wild show. It blew up so big. Then there was like all these creative issues, creative problems behind the scenes. And it feels like maybe now, you know, Roland and Harmon have kind of put aside all their differences. And now they're kind of back in a nice creative gel. And yeah, I thought the episode was really, really cool. And so I'm excited for it. I'm excited for more Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's fun, man. If you've never checked it out, you definitely should. It was cool. It's a cool show. Yeah, if it's not the most watched animated show or most popular animated show, it's one of the most popular animated shows. Dude, that show was huge, especially when it first came out. Okay, let's get into some of the Q's and the A's. I'll go over some of the super chats, some of the member chats, and then we'll hang out in the chat as well. Oh, and I do want to say, of course, this stream and all the streams today are brought to you by Paradox Customs PC. I'm running on an incredible Paradox Custom PC. This thing is an absolute monster. Allows me to do all kinds of crazy things. Gaming with the highest settings possible. Quantum mechanic, battle testing, analytics, research reports. I literally opened 1 million tabs in Chrome the other day just to see if I could, and I could. And if you'd like power like that, use code NERDVENGERS at checkout. You get yourself a Paradox Custom PC. You'll save a little money. And they'll know that we sent you there, which is good for us and for you. Do it. Do it now. And also, one more time, just 'cause I think it's hilarious, the I Heart Hot D t-shirts and mugs and long sleeves. Do you heart Hot D like I heart Hot D? Get it. Get it. Okay, let's get into the Q&A. Orange Grove is first in today with a 5 spot. Says Zaslav been getting a ton of heat lately. It's been the focus of all the trades, etc. I kind of feel that Chapek should send him a thank you card. I know, right? It is pretty wild. I gotta take off this dope jacket that I'm wearing because it's getting a little hot in the office. So I apologize. We're stripping down. Yeah, that's kind of true, man. Look, I don't know, man. Zaslav's wild. You know, at one time I was like really happy that he was coming in and doing his thing, and I was like, yo, let's go, Zaslav, like, let's get her done. I mean, honestly, he's pissed off almost everybody. You know, he's pissed off almost everybody, and that includes Wall Street. That includes a bunch of activist Twitter people. That includes the Snyder fans. Apparently, this dude actually called Zack Snyder a C-U-N-T. I won't even say the word. But apparently, he actually said that. And I'm just like, okay, that's a bold move. We'll see how it pays off. But yeah, Zaslav might not be the hero. We'll see. Aaron Feldman, member for 3 months, says, I hope all is well, Josh, with the Little Nerd Venture, and Hot D is only getting hotter. I agree, bro. I agree, and thank you for that. Yes, everything's good on the home front. Liam's a good little baby. He has, you know, sometimes the sleep situation, we're still adjusting to that. Last night was a little bit of a rough night, but honestly, we're good, man. We're going to make it work. We're going to figure it out. And hopefully, this will only last a couple of months, you know what I mean? And then he'll be sleeping through the night and waking up and doing chores. That would be awesome. Ovila says, hey, I like your stuff, man. Damon was badass AF, but RIP that messenger. That was a bit brutal. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That was, like, you literally don't shoot the messenger. That's, like, the whole thing, right? But it's just a great character moment for Damon because it shows, like, dude, this dude don't give a fuck, you know? It's pretty interesting. So, yeah, I liked it. I like his character a lot. I'm excited to see where they take that character. He's the first name that pops up, so he's top billing, and I think he's going to be in the show for many, many a season. So, yeah, I'm excited, dude. LMI Music, member for 20 months, says Hot D greater than Rings of Power so far, at least, LOL. So, I agree. I also think this is a little bit to do with your own taste, right? Because some people can't do Hot D because it's a little too hot. You know, like there's too much sex, too much violence, you know, can't watch it with the kids, etc., etc. And I understand that. And in some ways, Rings of Power presents like a, you know, PG sort of version of that. Because it's high fantasy, there's a lot of fun stuff. So maybe it's just sort of a different strokes, different folks sort of thing. I definitely agree, though. I think House of the Dragon is top tier. And Lord of the Rings did not impress me on its first couple episodes, so... Mandalore says, definitely feel like they are fudging the numbers. Don't forget they hired those actors to say it was amazing. They need it to be on par with Hot D. You know, that's true. And that Super Friends thing was one of the biggest, stupidest blunders I've ever seen a studio or production people do. Like, that was very dumb. Like, all-time, high-level stupid. But again, I really don't think legally they can just completely make that number up. They're probably fudging it, but I don't think they can make it up. MK Matt says with a $5 holla, says the NFL is streaming weekly Thursday night games on Prime. That alone shows how much reach they have. Rings of Power and Hot D are so fire. Andor soon. Let's go. Yeah, Andor's right around the corner. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, dude, look. Amazon Prime has ridiculous reach. It's ridiculous, dude. So many people have Prime. It's crazy. So, I don't know. We might be seeing a sort of shift in the streaming wars. Like, my thing is, and I think a lot of us are on the same page, I want Marvel and Star Wars to make quality that's of higher quality. Make content that's of higher quality. Like, She-Hulk's fine, and, like, you know, a lot of these shows are, like, fine. But I'm kind of like, I don't want fine anymore. You know what I mean? I want it to be fire, bro. I want to like, it feels like a communal thing, man. You know, sitting down, like, to watch the show, getting excited for the release, talking about it week to week. Like, bro, there ain't really nothing to talk about with regards to She-Hulk. Like, the cameos and stuff are fun, but, like, there's nothing to really dig in. You know what I mean? There's nothing to really dig in. So, like, I would love for Marvel to shift, which I talk more about in the video that's going to come out later today, which I need you all to watch 3 different times. Buck with a $2 holla. Thank you. No message, though. Cavill as a Stark in Season 2. MK Matt, that would be crazy. I'd prefer him to be a Targaryen, actually. And there's plenty of Targaryens. There's plenty of them that he could be. So, chilling in the basement. Again, thank you so much for joining the Nerd Vengers. Appreciate you. Jack R, remember for 2 months, has been missing out on the streams because of school. I'm back. Nerd Vengers for life. Hey, man, I understand. School, important. So I get it. And look, sometimes you can be in the tower a lot. Sometimes life takes you away. But the tower's always here. And we're always happy to see you come back. Moosh, member for 19 months, says, got my spot at the Marvel Star Wars panel this weekend at D23. Keep up the great work, Josh. Yo, that's sick, dude. Good for you. I hope it's an experience, man. I hope it's an experience. I hope there's a lot of energy in the room. I hope a lot of fun stuff shown, announced, etc., etc. So, good for you, brother. Kendo says, the 5 spot, I'd rather see Denzel as Blue Marvel versus a Henry Cavill Hyperion, but him as Magneto is lit. Seeing him bend metal and fight hand-to-hand like an Equalizer. Oh, that would be very cool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Denzel has chops for sure. He could be Blue Marvel. I think that would be interesting. I don't know if Blue Marvel and Hyperion ever actually like come to odds, but they're both equally as powerful, and that could be very, very fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards the Magneto Charles thing. It kind of makes sense in my mind, but we could be surprised. You know, I'm okay with surprises. Frostrodamus, member for 21 months, but no message, bro. I feel like you screwed that up. Scott McCrite says, Hot D is excellent. I dig Millie Alcock's character as Princess, but she is getting replaced mid-season for a time jump. Yes, that's true. And you actually hear the older Rhaenyra in the first episode. She does the intro. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. I'm excited. A lot of fun, nerdy stuff happening. So, yeah. Oh yeah, Frostro. It's okay, man. It's okay. Nerd theory tonight? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I wish there was some Star Wars news to like actually dig into, but yeah, we're going to nerd theory. We're going to nerd theory. We'll nerd theory next week, and I think after D23, hopefully there's some stuff to actually get into and talk about. So, yeah. He fought King Hyperion? Okay, interesting. What story was that in? Josh, why you no join the Nerd Ventures Fantasy Football, man? Man, I'm just not into football like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to watch a few games this year, but no, I'm not really into it like that. When is Marvel Theory? I don't know what you're talking about, bruh. Am I going to get Amazing Fantasy 1000? Maybe. Josh, if your characters ever have an adaptation, who do you have any dream actors? I've actually thought about this. I think Henry Cavill would be sick as General Xander, but also David Harbour could play General Xander, and I think it would be really, really cool. Only Marvel talk with somebody? Oh, I mean, that's a cool idea. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of spread pretty thin. At this point, my goals are to start making the main channel videos just way, way better and do a lot more fun stuff on the main channel. And then just kind of continue to improve like the streams and things like that. So when's the next Multiverses grind stream? Probably soon. I mean, maybe even tomorrow if there's no news or whatever. But dude, I'm loving Multiverses, but it's getting hard. Dude, I don't know what the deal is. At one point my MMR for Multiverses was like 1100 with Superman, and now it's dropped down to like 1000, and I'm like, what the hell happened? I've been just kicking everybody's ass. I've just been destroying people. You know what I mean? Spider-Man PC stream, please, Josh. I feel like that time has passed. I mean, I might still play the game, but it's not really like hot. It's not really like in the news. It's not really popping like that anymore. You know what I mean? Do we know if Theory has watched Rings of Power yet, or his hot D opinion? I don't know. I don't know if he's watched either, to be honest with you. I could ask him, but... Have you seen the re-release of Spider-Man No Way Home? I didn't. I wanted to. I was going to go out, man. But honestly, the weekend, I just had a lot of other stuff I wanted to take care of, and I also just kind of wanted to chill. You know what I mean? Thoughts on Spider-Man Lotus? I have not seen it. I'm aware of the drama and stuff like that. I don't really have an opinion on it. You know. Hello, Leia. Spider-Man Lotus swinging scene. I mean, I did see that kind of on Twitter or whatever. It looked cool. I mean, it seems like they did some good work on it. Seems like they did some good work on it. But, yeah. Please no Lotus. I don't know what you're talking about with that. Chilling in the basement says, just joined the stream. Discord link is where? Oh, somebody can get you the Discord link. Oh, you know what else is cool? I just started messing around with that AI art creation. Yo, let me show you something. Let me show you something. And it's like weird. It's gonna take me some time to like figure it out. Like, this is so weird. I don't know what they did to his eyes here. But here, I'll show you a couple of things. It's pretty cool. Look at this, dude. It's like a Iron Man Doom or like Iron Doom. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm trying to use this AI software to create really cool photorealistic Marvel and Star Wars stuff, and then use it in Photoshop, adjust it, fix it up to make just incredible thumbnails or incredible art for some of the videos. So like this, I might just use this. Yeah, Mid-Journey. Yeah, I'm using Mid-Journey for sure. So, yeah, I thought this was really cool. And then I was trying to get Giancarlo Esposito as Charles Xavier, and I'm not going to lie, this image is a little jarring because I don't know what the fuck they did to his eyes. But I can go in here and like clean this up or like take images of, Esposito and like put it over this or whatever. But, yep. Yeah, it's wild, right? Let me show you one more because I think it's pretty cool. Like, here's one of the ones. Wait, what? Here's one of the ones that I was working on, too. Yeah. You know, it's weird. It takes some time to like put in the right info to get the AI to create the images that you want, and then it takes a lot of time also, because my thing is this: I want to get some cool, you know, things and then take them into Photoshop and like mess with them, put them together. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Rahul. Yeah, dude, we're excited about the main channel videos. I actually I'm securing a little bit of extra funding. And with the funding, we're just going to really dig into the main videos. I'd like to blow the main channel up and just make like incredible content. So we're going to do a lot more editing on videos and just stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Things are going well. But yeah, this AI art stuff, man, it's wild. It's wild. It's a lot of fun, though. Messing around with it last night, but this is definitely the best one. And you know what? You know what this prompt started as? It started by me saying Ben Affleck as Dr. Doom. I wanted Ben Affleck as Dr. Doom, and then somehow we arrived here after like 30, 40 adjustments and shit like that. Isn't that crazy? So, yep. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Cool stuff happening. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Oh, and let's see here. Let me go over this one here. 34 Virgo says Denzel killed the Malcolm X character already. I'm betting on they want that persona for Magneto and Esposito persona for Professor X. I know it's not based on them. Sure, Marvel, wink, wink, really close. Yeah, no, they embraced the connection. They definitely embraced it. It just wasn't created to be that. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, kind of like a pedantic point, but it's true. It's true. Got to get hip. I'm always trying to get hip, bro. But yeah, no, this AI art stuff is wild. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on it and whatnot. I'm going to still use the AI stuff with like Photoshop and like my own skills and stuff like that. But this shit's getting better and better. And I can imagine a day where I just tell the AI to, you know, I can create characters and then tell the AI to animate them in certain ways. Like, it's wild where all of this is headed, dude. Like, we're going to be able to do really crazy stuff for practically nothing. You know? So, the world and the times, they are a-changing. Liquid red. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was actually wondering about that, Tetsuo, because I tried some blood stuff too, and they wouldn't let me do the blood. So maybe red liquid is the way to go, huh? Code red. Yeah. What's the link to that AI generator? So you have to go, just look up Midjourney AI, and they can take you through it. But you've got to, like, it took me forever to get my invite into the Discord. And I pay $30 a month to do, like, unlimited shit on there or whatever, so. Did anyone watch The Samaritan over the weekend? I watched it and wanted to like it, but alas, booty cheeks. Dude, I couldn't even give it a fair shake, C-Dub. People had told me, and the reviews that I was watching, that it was bad, like real bad. So I couldn't even give it a fair shake. I was like, nah. So I don't know how I feel. Like, it encourages people to not be creative for themselves. I don't know. It's so I get that. I get that. For me, though, I see it a little bit differently because, you know, as somebody who is always thinking in terms of story and trying to create narrative and things like that, like, if you think even the comic books, right? So I like making comic books, but one of the most frustrating aspects is working with these other artists and creators. And don't get me wrong, like, the artists that I have on this book, awesome. You know, the colorist, awesome. But, dude, human beings are human beings. You know, sometimes, you know, there's frustration. Sometimes they don't do the work quickly. So, as somebody who could potentially use software like this to have full control, full creative control of the things that I would want to do, I still think there's a lot of creativity and things there. So, but I understand from an artist's perspective, you know. Does this mean you won't get triggered by board member creation tweets now? This is facts, Ryan. You know, I was really butthurt for a long time, but now I'm feeling much better about it because now I'm in there as well. So thank you. All right, ladies and gentle beings, I'm going to get on out of here. Make sure you check out the video later today. I think it's going to be a real juicy clickbaity thumbnail that says Marvel is fucking up with She-Hulk on it. So make sure you go watch it, though. It's actually a really fun video, very nuanced discussion of what's going on with She-Hulk, what's going on with Marvel, and why we shouldn't panic, and they're going to fix it. So check that video out later. And, yeah, we'll be back at it tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what we'll be doing. Maybe some crazy news will drop. Maybe we'll just be playing multiverses. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Happy Labor Day to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well, okay? As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Leave. Amen. I hope you guys are doing well. I like that stream. I like talking about hot day. So thank you guys for being here. Thought we had a good time. Show's gonna get real crazy. I think this week's gonna be real crazy. How do you know I'm on the toilet? Is the camera on? What the? Oh man, I'm just trying to multitask, bro. I'm just trying to multitask. Everybody relax, dude. Okay. Much love. Take care of yourselves and open up that third eye. Watch out for that brown eye. And I'll see you in the next one.